Hello, Graham. How are you?
I am fine. Good to be here.
I'm very pleased to have this chance of having this interview with you. It's a great pleasure to have you here in Mexico and in Ibero. Very special person from NASA. So can you tell a bit about yourself for the audience to know you?
Yeah, certainly. I'm actually Canadian. I was born in Montreal and educated. I got my degree in computer science in Canada, but ended up going to California with my family. And among where I ended up working is at NASA Ames Research Center in Mountain View, California, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I've been interested in computers all my life. I love space. I will tell everyone that I've been promised a tour of the observatory, which I'm very excited about. I love science. I love astronomy. And I really love the whole science of artificial intelligence and the ways that can be applied to space exploration. So, so fun to be here at Ibero and to meet all the people that I have so far. Young energy, lots of ideas. It's very exciting.
I'm very happy to hear that. And actually, I think that your topics, artificial intelligence and space research, is, I think, in the imagination of everybody, because probably because of movies and science fiction. Do you like movies and science fiction?
I do.
Yes?
Yes.
Have you seen this movie? Probably you have, 2001 from Stanley Kubrick.
Absolutely. It's a classic.
And what do you think about the artificial intelligence in that movie? Do you remember the ending of the movie where
I do.
They have to do something to enter?
That's right. There you have artificial intelligence that kind of goes off the rails.
Yes.
And as they say, it didn't do what it should have done. But it raised a very interesting question then, and those questions remain open to this very day. The question really is, if you have artificial intelligence, that means just like our intelligence, it's adapting, it's changing, it's trying to do the best it can with the information it has at hand. And for those that know the movie well, they'll know that HAL, the HAL 9000 computer was trapped somewhat in a bit of a lie. It felt it had been told to succeed in the mission at all costs.
Yes.
The mission mattered the most. And when it came to conclude that perhaps the astronauts themselves were going to be getting in the way of the success of the mission, it determined it had to get rid of the astronauts.
Yes.
Now, the reason that's an interesting question, and it's one that has come up in many discussions I've had even here at Ibero with other people. What happens when artificial intelligence fails in our eyes, but it fails because it solved a problem in a way that we had not expected and didn't tell it to avoid?
Yes.
And these are real problems today. How do we do that with AI today?
But there is another science fiction author, that is Isaac Asimov, who created some laws for artificial intelligence and robots, right?
Absolutely.
And one of them is about always caring about humans.
That's right.
So, for example, in this sense, is there something in reality about telling machines, artificial intelligences, to respect human life as if is something sacred or something, that is in the laws, in the ethics of these machines?
Well, absolutely. Your questions are what's on all our minds. So I love hearing this kind of discussion is the best.
I am glad to hear that.
It is interesting that the idea that robots and the intelligence behind them become so pervasive in society and so open in terms of what they can do and what not do, that you have to put these very generic guards, the 3 rules of robotics, right? Yes. That you will not hurt a human. You won't, through inaction, allow a human to be hurt.
Exactly.
And you protect yourself, but that last one comes behind the other 2.
Yes. They right? are, how do you say that? They are like in a hierarchical order, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Hierarchy, the most important. So we try to encode that, humans are the most important. Now, again, where things get interesting, I think there's two of them. What if the robots observe that humans are hurting ourselves, that we're fighting each other?
Okay.
Now what does it do? Because should it do nothing because it doesn't want to harm a human?
Yeah.
But through inaction, that human will hurt another human. So the point is, there's always little twists in the scenarios that get that confuse the rules, right? What seems clear isn't so clear.
But in some sense, we have the same problem sometimes, right?
Of
because
course,
we have to make decisions about like trying to make, let's say, the least damage. Sometimes, even if you know that you will do something that is going to hurt somebody, probably, right? So, so the problems of the artificial intelligence, maybe they are already in human nature. But as you were saying in your talk this morning, technology is not doing something good or wrong, but is kind of enhancing the possibilities of humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is something that is already there, and it depends how do you use it.
Right.
As a weapon or as a tool. There's this movie, The Arrival, where actually this extraterrestrial civilization, they don't have two different words for weapon and tool, right? Mm-hmm. It depends how do you use it.
It's very insightful, and I think that's absolutely right. What you said there was very important. I think you put your finger right on it. These ethical dilemmas sometimes, or, what I think is right, you might think is wrong. I mean, ethics and morality is a complex thing.
Of course.
So we encounter that all the time.
Yeah.
The difference is that we're developing artificial intelligence to the point where it's smart enough that it has to interpret the same dilemmas that we've been faced with all along.
Yeah.
We've never created anything of that nature.
Yes.
A hammer doesn't have to consider what is right and wrong. It's not capable of it. We don't, it's not part of the ethical or moral consideration, but AI can be. So now what? And that's you could not have put it better. Yeah. We are creating something that is facing the same intellectual dilemmas as we have faced for millennia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the ethics is let's say a branch of philosophy, and actually in philosophy usually they don't have any kind of absolute answer, right? Mm-hmm. There is always an open question, and now that we have this open question, but as you said, now our tools have the possibility of making choices, right? Mm-hmm. They are choosing. For example, a car, if there's an automatic car that can turn right or left, they can make decisions based on certain information, right? Mm-hmm. But they are deciding, and ethics come along with these decisions, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, it's sort of a classic example, right? The car is, if we were the driver, we would be faced with this problem. I can only turn left or right, and I have to decide, am I going to hit this person or this person?
Yes.
And if we read about this in the newspaper, in our heads, I think most of us would go like, oh my gosh, what an awful situation.
Yes.
I'm so glad that wasn't me. I don't know what I would have done. Yeah. And you sort of assume that the person did the best they could do in the circumstance. They made one decision or the other.
Yeah.
But when it's a computer, we kind of hold that to a higher standard, right? Yeah. We're sort of like, well, how did you make that decision?
Exactly.
Who told you the rules wait, how did this work? And all of a sudden, we hold it to a higher standard. We assume it does better than us in a situation which is very rapid because computers are faster than we are at understanding information. So it's fascinating. I think I'll add one other point though about the rules, going back to Isaac Asimov.
Yeah.
And so you put these rules in place, which we've just discussed. That sometimes isn't all that obvious. There are times where it's not clear how to interpret those rules. Not only that, but the question is, could we make AI so smart that it makes something smarter than itself? In other words, artificial intelligence that can make new AI systems that are smarter than it. Would it think to put those same three rules into its child?
Of course.
Or does it disappear?
Yes. Yeah, I actually, it's the first time that I think about that, right?
Yeah,
If they write their own rules,
right,
probably they will not be focused on humans, right?
That's right. Does our protection kind of slowly dilute and disappear, and all of a sudden there's new generations of AI that have forgotten a long time ago about these three rules, right? Now, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows, exactly. Because actually, in your talk, you were saying something very, very interesting for me, that somehow you said that artificial intelligence can develop some kind of creativity. Well, the example you used was about playing Go, this AlphaGo, and that the Go player, this Korean expert in Go in Go, said that he could feel like a personality of the artificial intelligence. And then you showed an example of this robot who solve a problem in a very creative way, right? For me, that's creativity.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Is it possible to say that they are creative?
I would use the word creative for artificial intelligence today. Creative is, the root of that word is to create, meaning to make something that didn't exist before. It's not just copying something; it's brand new. And that happens today. I think often when we use the word creative, we associate that with kind of human intellect and consciousness, and almost like creativity feels like something that almost needs a soul.
Yeah.
Is that really something that can go into a machine? And I used an analogy. You've got to be very careful about words and the words we use, and sort of dismissing, saying, "Oh, it can't be creative. That's a human thing." And the example I used was, well, we were comfortable saying a fish can swim.
Yeah.
Does a submarine swim?
Okay.
No, probably not.
No,
but you know what? It still goes underwater very quickly.
Yes.
And it does what a fish does. It doesn't swim. So just be careful. Sometimes when we use words like intelligence and self-awareness and consciousness, we say, "Oh, that isn't intelligent," because it didn't solve the problem the way a human would solve it. Well, a submarine doesn't go through the water the way a fish does, but maybe it does swim.
Yeah.
Right? So our language and the meaning that we place in words and the way it's called anthropocentric.
Yeah.
Meaning human-centered.
Yes, yes.
So when we use our language anthropocentric, can't say it now.
Yes.
When it's anthropocentric, there we are. You said it better than me.
I don't think so.
What is this?
I was just practicing in my mind.
When it's anthropocentric, we start to dismiss capabilities that are intelligent or creative or things like that, just because we attach those too closely to us and the way we do things. Yeah. There's different ways to do things, and maybe machines are starting to get that.
They're getting better for sure in a lot of aspects. They are better than us.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we are not important, that we just have to, how do we say, just to renounce to all our hopes. No, I think that it is for me, I am a bit enthusiastic about artificial intelligence, and I think that it will enhance our possibilities, and especially going to the moon, going to Mars. You were saying that the new generation is the Mars generation, right? So do you think that we are going to be witnesses of the
I think
Mars?
so.
How do you say?
I think so.
To Mars?
I do. I mean, I think Mars is very difficult. I think that the distances alone make it a very, very challenging undertaking. When we've gone to the moon before to visit. Now we're embarking on a plan to go there to stay. Yeah. That's hard. To go to Mars, that takes the autonomous nature of it, the fact that the crews that go there have to be completely self-contained. Yes. And do their mission and deal with problems all on their own. Without any help because from the Earth. Communications are delayed. There's a lot going on that make that a challenging undertaking, and it's it's a multi-year mission, which is also hard. So that said, I do believe that the younger generation than myself, people like you, will see human footprints on Mars. I do believe that. And I think that's just going to be an extremely exciting moment indeed. And the amount that we will learn from that process, the other thing I'm 100% convinced of is that there will be benefits for humanity in ways we can't even imagine.
We cannot imagine.
Yeah, can't imagine yet. There will be it's not just about putting the footprint on Mars. It's about humanity uniting to take on challenges of that magnitude and gaining the benefits of that investment in what we create and what we learn and the things that help humanity in general. So I know that's true. And it's institutions like Ibero where creativity in a multidiscipline fashion is brought together. People listen to you, I'm sure, on science broadcasts all the time, and it gets their brains going and they talk, and that's what it's all about. Yes. That is where the spark of innovation that's going to make this work happens.
It's very I don't know, I'm very happy to hear that, this enthusiasm, and I really hope that all these investments, all this science goes really to the benefit of humanity. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I will ask a couple of questions, but more personal.
Oh, great.
Is it your first time in Mexico?
It is not my first time in Mexico. I've been here on vacation before, but it's my first time in Mexico City.
Okay.
And I'm very, very happy. I came here with my wife, which is always more fun because we get to see things together. Excellent. And it is a beautiful city. When I flew in, it's impressive. You just look out the window and you just don't see the end of it. It's huge, huge city. And we were driving around streets, going to dinner last night. Beautiful areas. I was so impressed. I'm
very happy, and hopefully you'll have time to visit some very important places like the pyramids of Teotihuacan.
We are going there. We're going there tomorrow.
Oh, excellent!
See?
So you will not miss them.
I'm excited about that. Yes.
And also some of the in the center. Have you seen the city center?
Yes,
downtown.
We were driving through it. There's still much more to see. I mean, of course, I say I've seen it, but I'm sure you could do that for a year and still see new things, right? That's what Mexico City is like.
I was born here. I am 37 years old, and I don't know the city completely, right? So I'm still discovering places. Well, I hope that that your visit to Mexico City, to Ibero, has been very, very exciting also for you. I am very, very happy to have you here in the interview in Calypso. And hopefully they will take you to taste very good Mexican food here.
I've already had that. We had fantastic meal last night. I can tell you that Mexican beef, very good.
Excellent.
Very good. Okay, so I'm worried I'm just going to gain weight.
Oh, probably you will do, but
okay, but that's okay.
Yeah,
right?
that's okay.
That's part of what I. Okay, all right.
It's part of business.
Thank you for giving me permission to just eat everything that's good here, which is fantastic.
I think your wife was looking.
Was she looking at me a bit funny? Yeah, she's. Well, I have to tell you, she's a very good cook. So I'm kind of hoping that she's observing what we're served and maybe thinking, I might take that back. And there we go. Thank you as well.
Thank you, Graham. It was very, very nice to chat with you.
Likewise. My pleasure. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.